Thank you, Ian. It's the clock ticking around towards midday here, and people who've been here for the whole month say that it's probably the hottest day yet in the Azteca Stadium here at midday. A scorching sun, a fantastic atmosphere, and two sides worthy of the World Cup final. The Germans, who today will be wearing green shirts and white shorts, with the Argentines in their familiar light blue and white stripes. The Azteca Stadium packed, of course, to the capacity of 115,000. And the crowds, in fact, were arriving here at 7 o'clock this morning. After a night of torrential rain, the pitch will be a little on the soft side. But in this heat, it's going to be surely a supreme test, not only of nerve, but of stamina too.
La ceremonia protocolaria previa al partido, en que serán interpretados por la banda monumental los himnos nacionales.
In a moment we shall have the national anthems. So the Argentine anthem, the Brazilian anthem, because the referee today here is a Brazilian, Ronaldo Arpi, and finally the West German anthem. And soon that question that's been asked around the world over the last week, can Maradona be stopped? Can the West Germans win the World Cup for the third time? Those questions will soon be answered. Ron Atkinson, my co-commentator, would you like to put it on the line which way your thoughts are going at the moment?
Well, I think it's very much a case of a flair team with one brilliant, absolutely brilliant individual against a team built on method. I mean, I've seen the Germans playing their last 3 games now, Brian, and they're disciplined, not over-adventurous, but they tend to try and wear sides down, which is exactly what they've done. Can they stop Maradona? We believe that Mateus will pick him up, but they've also got other good markers in the side, like Forster, Jacobs and Ada, who'll all be prepared to take it.
Well, here are the teams then. Argentina first with Pompidou in goal, Cuchufo and Brown. With an Irish descent, incidentally, the big defender, Ruggeri, Olati-Churka, that's the commentator's nightmare. Giusti, Batista, who has such a positive role to play just in front of the back four, and Burachaga, who of course does so much to feed Maradona. Enrique, a quick and nimble little midfield man, and the fellow himself, Maradona, and Valdano from Real Madrid. Carlos Bilardo, much abused before this World Cup started, now can say, well, I've taken them to the final. In fact, there's a sign away behind one of the goals in blue and white saying, "Pardon, Bilardo, gracias." We're sorry, Bilardo, and thank you. There were a lot of criticisms of him, and people were saying he should be sacked and should be told to leave the country, but now their mood has changed, and here's the West German side with Toni Schumacher in goal, Briegel, the big man, we call the steamroller, Bremer, who scored an important goal in the semi-final, Karl-Heinz Förster, Ada from Bayern Munich, Mateus, who we think is the man who might have to look after Maradona, Maga, the real little workhorse in the midfield, Rummenigge, great forward who really hasn't shown his best form yet, big defender Jacobs, Klaus Allofs, who's had a good World Cup as forward, and Thomas Berthold, who was sent off against Mexico, the 21-year-old who now comes back with their manager, Franz Beckenbauer. The referee, as I said, is Mr. Arpi from Brazil, who has with him a Swedish linesman, and also this gentleman, Mr. Ulloa, from Costa Rica. And Erik Fredriksson is the Swedish linesman. The West Germans then, under this blazing sunshine here at midday in Mexico City, will kick off in the green shirts, attacking the goal to our left. This is Mateus on the ball for them straight away. The Germans who've won the World Cup twice, the Argentines who've won it once back in their own country in 1978. This is Forster. Mateus. And that'll be a throw, the ball coming off Valdano. Briegel, I can't think what, but the referee seemed to indicate that Briegel must pull his socks up. The ball is across now with Jacobs. Played in there by Magath, or Big Briegel. A flick on again by Rummenigge. Here come the West Germans. Can Briegel get his cross in? It is, and it's low. And knocked away quite comfortably in the Argentine defence. And the first touch for Maradona, and not a very positive one, and it goes into touch. Magath quickly with the throw, trying to get Allofs away, and the West Germans win a corner in the opening 90 seconds of this 1986 World Cup. Got a feeling, as Ron Atkinson has, that it is a FIFA ruling that players must have their socks up, and maybe that was what the referee was on to Hans-Peter Briegel about, but he habitually wears them about his ankles.
Well,
It's Bremer with the corner for the West Germans. Bertolds, the tall young fullback, is in there too. Maradona got it away, not very far. Bremer. Stopped there for a moment by Cucifo. Here's Maradona. Cucifo now. Burachaga gets possession, but the whistle had gone for a foul on Maradona, possibly not the first of the game, or at least not the last of the game. Here's Burachaga now. Side there now to Enrique. Aldana. Chufo. Burachaga. And Alof's cutting it out, but it's given away to Maradona. That could be dangerous. His little flick onto the far side. The flag is up for offside. Free kick. Eder. Bremer. Magath. His last game in top-class football, Magath, before he becomes the Secretary General at the Hamburg club. Enrique again. Justi. Valdana. Justi again for Argentina. Enrique. Very much underestimated Enrique in this Argentine side when so many headlines have gone the way of Maradona and Burachaga. Maradona brought down by Mateus, and it'll be a free kick. Tempted to say surely a little too far out for Maradona to cause too much distress to the West Germans, but with this little man, you never really know. Only 5'4", and Harold Tony Schumacher lining up that German wall, only 3 in it. Burachaga, in fact, clipping it towards the far side. Bertolds got the header in for the West Germans. Magath will seek to complete the clearance, which he does. This is Brown. Burachaga. Batista, his first touch. Chufo. Batista. Burachaga. Enrique again. Now a break again by the Argentines. And the cross with Burachaga hoping to get behind it. And Argentina claiming a corner, the referee saying goal kick. No, in the end, changing his mind and giving the corner. Linesman there and pointing it. Maradona will take it as usual. Burachaga's in there. Brown has come up from the back. Batista's in there as well. This could be the first little crisis for the West Germans. Hit in low. And somehow, well, it was Batista who got a touch. And a clumsy one as well when there was a clear scoring chance on Eckerson.
There was some talk before the game, wasn't it, about why Maradona takes so many corners. I think that's why he takes them, Brian. He can whip the ball in very, very accurately. And the Argentina have been quite impressive in their build-up with their corner kicking. That was a definite chance, a little touch on. Maybe Batista should have done better.
What have you seen so far about the way they might handle Maradona?
Well, it looks as if Matias is going to try and mark him reasonably loosely. He's not going to pick him up all the while. It looks as if when Maradona pushes right up front, that either Forster or Jacobs will take him. It's going to give them a bit of a problem, though, Brian, because it means if Matias does man-for-man marking, Batista and Burachaga are going to get an awful lot of room.
Free kick not being taken from the right spot. Alofs will take it. Bertolds again on the far side. Ada's in there too. Rummenigge as well. And Magath. A bit short of a striking force, the West Germans. Rummenigge himself is not fully fit. And neither's Rudi Voller, one of their top strikers, who's amongst the substitutes today. Maradona. Batter from behind. So too was Mateus there. And Maradona goes somersaulting onto the track, and it'll be a throw. The referee, in fact, coming back Have a look, I think, at Mateus, who was clattered by Enrique. Throw the West Germany. Andreas Bremer with it on the far side. Snipped by Berthold. Jerry. Chufo. Concentration there for a moment by Valdana. Just joined us with about 8 minutes gone. It's 0-0 in this World Cup final in Mexico City between Argentina and West Germany, with the West Germans in the green shirts. Bremer will take their throw. Eder. Bremer. Karl-Heinz Forster was coming out quickly, and it needed Valdano to get there and get it away. Chufo, Batista. Enrique. Justi. Jakobs beaten there. Vulachaga coming in. Valdana's waiting in the middle. And the crossing wasn't quite to Valdana's requirements. No trouble in the end for the West Germans. Foul on Elofs. By Kachufo. Is Eder. Forster. Dietmar Jakobs. Riegel. There was an obstruction there by Kachufo on Elofs. This will be another free kick to the West Germans. Norbert Eder with it. Mateus putting on a long one in there, and Eder got in on the far side, but it's a goal kick. In this heat, the pace is leisurely, as you'd expect it to be, Ron.
Yes, I think this has worked against the Germans. I think virtually every game that's been played in this stadium has been played in sort of conditions you describe as European. But it is, as you said earlier, the hottest day they've had in Mexico City for the last month.
Enrique playing it through, and the marker getting in ahead of Maradona as Mateus gets it back to Schumacher. Here's Priegel. This is the big man they call the steamroller. He's playing in the Italian First Division with Verona. As indeed as Rummenigge, he's been playing with Inter Milan. Free kick to Argentina. Justi, Vulachaga. Maradona has made a little break forward. Valdana's on the far side. It was Forster's header. Now Bremer. Berthold, youngest player on the field at 21. And the ball ran finally for him there. Long striding run, and two strikers waiting in the middle, and he gets a corner.
Yes, Brian, if they're going to use Mateus as a defensive midfield player, they've got to have a lot of pace and a lot of breaks from both Briegel and Berthold in the wide positions. They've struggled a little bit up front of the Germans in the early games, and they badly need the support from from midfield positions.
Well, here are the West Germans with a corner. Riegel's gone into the box. In fact, they've got 5 or 6 in there now, including the tall Berthold again, and Pompidou. Good safe catch. Knocked back in there once more towards Rummenigge. Valdana getting it away. Riegel's header. In fact, he was fouled by Enrique once again, and it's another free kick for Germany. Chaga's the number 7 alongside him. Still a long way out. Mind you, the ball flies in this thin air. Haven't seen many successful free kicks, to be fair. That one from Alofs just goes against the Argentine wall, and there might be a chance of a break here for them. Maradona brought down by Briegel. And as a game, it really hasn't got going yet.
I think that's a situation that will suit the Germans, actually, because I think part of their plan will be to stifle and frustrate the Argentinians.
Maradona's gone on the run again. Mateus is with him, and it's interesting, as soon as Maradona makes any sort of progress and Mateus goes with him, there's always another German filling in behind him. On that occasion, it was the number 17, Dietmar Jakobs. Another corner then for Argentina. Maradona, remember, with 5 goals in this World Cup. Our own Gary Lineker, with 6, is the leading scorer at the moment. Well, Maradona's not taking this corner. It's Chaga. Played a little wider there towards Batista. Magath getting it away for the West Germans. And a good break here again? No. Leg was up. Free kick then to Argentina, which Maradona will take. Here he comes. Famous left foot. Eder getting it away. Minutes gone of this World Cup final, and still no score between Argentina and West Germany. Justi. In goes Eder. Little flick. Jakobs away. Alofs underneath it, beaten by Brown. Jakobs. Chaga. Getting the better of Felix Magath, still with Chaga, and then falling and not fooling the referee. Batista, Justi, Batista, Chufo, trying to quicken it up a little bit there towards Enrique. Obviously spent a lot of time, obviously, considering how they can deal with Maradona. Not the first time in their World Cup history that they've had to deal with, without any question, the leading man in the world on the day. They had to do it in 1954 when they beat Hungary. Then, of course, the great French Puskás was the world's #1, and they did it again in '74 when they beat Holland, when Johan Cruyff was the undisputed #1. Wondering whether they can do it again now when Diego Maradona clearly is the world's #1. This is Karl-Heinz Forster trying to get Eder away down this left flank. And Briegel making a break and brought down right on the edge. Right on the edge. 2 feet further in, and the West Germans would have had a penalty. And the Argentines are anything but happy with that decision, but it looked a good enough one to me, Von Atkinson.
Yes, it's certainly a free kick, and I think Briegel looks for these things. I remember seeing him in a game against Italy just before the tournament, when he made exactly the same run as that. It's hard to deal with. It's the same thing as Maradona does at the other end, but it's a definite free kick, and as you said, almost a penalty.
Well, Pompidou, former farm boy, 24 years old. conceded 3 goals in this World Cup so far. One of them, of course, to Gary Lineker in England. Alof's behind it. Briegel behind it. Mateus behind it. And Bremer. And Maradona is being booked. Has got the yellow card for showing dissent, which has really sent a buzz around this stadium. The Brazilian referee showing from the word go that reputations will mean nothing to him, and even if you are the world's #1, if you step out of line, it's a yellow card. Well, the free kick has to be taken again. Now, will they try to play it again to Bremer, who of course have scored with a free kick in the semi-final against France? Alof's behind it, Briegel behind it, Mateus and Maga. It was in fact Mateus. Now here's Briegel. Argentina pulled everybody back, and Briegel goes on, but in fact had fouled Maradona. He's had a very disappointing World Cup so far, Hans-Peter Briegel, but he looks as though he might be playing more to his own particular form in this cup final. Well, here's Batista, the little crisis over for the Argentines. Juan Luis Brown. Cachufo. Burachaga. And the break is on for Maradona as Mateus slipped, maybe for one awkward moment. Will he get it back again? 3 Germans crowded around him, and there was no time, space, even for the world's #1. Jerry. Enrique.
Ryan, I think that's an area of the field you'll see Maradona operate more and more in an attempt to lose his mark. It's just behind the German left-back area. I think it's somewhere he goes very effectively, where he runs at people and cuts inside them on his left foot.
Referee certainly showing he means no nonsense at the moment. The booking of Maradona, Ron, I presume that was for not getting back the 10 yards when required.
No, I think after the free kick, Brian, what he did, he actually showed dissent at them retaking it. It's a blow for them because it puts him on sudden death, actually.
That's right. It's Bremer. Mateus. Berthold. It's Ada now with the cross. Towards Rummenigge, tried one of those famous overhead kicks but didn't make a connection, and Argentina got it away. This is Valdana. Being chased by Mateus. Argentina's throw, looking for Maradona and finding him. But no sooner had the ball arrived at Maradona than Dieter Jacobs was there as well. Burachaga trying to find Olaticera on the far side. Olaticera gets the cross in, and Forster getting it away. Chufo now. Game has quickened up just a little bit. Justi for Argentina. Thomas Berthold. Now Maradona. A little poke through there towards Burachaga. For Chufo. Maradona's gone wide for him. Germans are closed in quickly on him. The back heel has beaten them. Maradona was flattened and the game goes on. And now it's stopped for the foul. That time on Cachufo, and a yellow card against Mateus.
I honestly don't think, Brian, the referee saw that, I think Maradona's kidded him into that.
Well, he's got a free kick as well. Burachaga will take it. Batista's come up from the back. Olaticera's there. Valdana, the big man's in there too. Floated to the far side. And made in! Brown! His first goal for Argentina comes in a World Cup final. the day is hot.
I think you should go and give Schumacher a kiss as well there, Brian, don't you? He came out, I think he must have been waving to his mother when he came out for the cross. A lot of defenders there, he had no real need to cover, but once he came, he should have got it. Good header, but the Germans will be very, very sick about that.
30 years old. Started life, in point of fact, in an orphanage, did Jose Luis Brown, of Irish extraction, and now a hero in Argentina. Argentina 1, West Germany 0. 23 minutes gone. I reckon there's something like 25,000 Argentines in the stadium today, and they certainly gave vent to their feelings. The exiles and the people who've come up out of South America to be here on this great day. And what a sight. A stadium that was built back in 1966. The only one ever to have 2 World Cup finals. The first, of course, that great Brazilian victory in 1970. What a jugger. Giusti. Maradona well forward now. He does seem, whenever Argentina get into a leading situation, that he does go really right forward, as though he's looking for the kill for that second goal. Well, here's the goal scorer, Jose Luis Brown. Now Enrique.
I think the problem the Germans have got now, Brian, is they've been brought up on the counter. They play on the counter, they try to defend in depth and frustrate the opposition. Now they've got to try and somehow come out and make the game, which isn't easy with the type of players they've got. I think people like Rummenigge really haven't had a kick in the whole tournament, and now it's a great responsibility on them to come forward and try and do something.
Maradona. His father's here, by the way, today, so just in case he gets into any trouble. I thought the boot's on the other foot. He's given everybody a bit of trouble in this World Cup. Batista. Bertoldi with a brave header there.
Ryan, they reckon when Maradona was at Barcelona, you know, it was his father who caused all the trouble. He couldn't keep his father out of discotheques, apparently, in the evening.
Well, the Germans are giving the ball away here. A little header by Maradona, getting it back again. Then, well, he got it back again. That's twice they've given it to him. And here come Argentina again. Butachaga was in there, so too was Giusti. And a free kick for Argentina on the edge of the penalty area. And the Germans could well be in deeper trouble now. Now, will the little man who stands 5'4" make it 2-0? Looking for his 6th goal in this World Cup, having scored 2 in the quarter-final against England, 2 in the semi-final against Belgium. And the Brazilian referee insisting that that green German wall gets back the full 10 yards. Maradona versus the wall, and behind it, Harold Schumacher, who may feel he has a due or 2 to pay. Just is going in the wall to cause mischief as well. Troublesome times these for the Germans, and still Maradona waits. Still the referee tries to get the wall back. Butachaga runs over it, Maradona plays it in, and it's stopped by Schumacher. now. It's the first game the Germans have played in the Azteca since last summer. They lost here to Mexico and to England 3-0. So they won't have very happy memories of that at the moment, at this particular place. England goals on that day from Brian Robson and 2 from Kerry Dixon, of course. It's Baptiste. Enrique. Falling as he pushed. The referee is taking no notice.
Get a go at him there, Brian, off the ball, Mateus. He's done that a couple of times. I think he might be getting frustrated with being taken all over the pitch. Maradona's pulling him to all parts now, pulling him short, taking him back into his own back four, and his concentration's got to be total if he's going to complete the job he's supposed to do.
And in this heat, it's no fun. Here Argentina again, leading by a goal to 0. 28 minutes gone. Chufo to Chaga. Enrique. And Giusti losing it to Bremer. And really strong challenge there from Karl-Heinz Forster, got it back again, but here's Chaga towards Maradona on the far side. Just a little flutter of panic there for a moment. And the ball turned away by Mateus for the corner. The referee clapping his hands and wanting the Argentines to get across there and take it a little quicker. Franz Beckenbauer, the German manager, 40 years old, 103 caps for his country. Corner again. Maradona tried a flick. Beckenbauer certainly, as the manager, has shaped the side the way he wants it, using his experience of playing in Bayern Munich and in Hamburg. He's brought in players like Jakobs and Adair. They're always a good competition side, the West Germans. They had a dreadful start to the Argentine side, as the captain told us. They had a dreadful lead up to this World Cup. They just couldn't win a game in about 6 months. They seem to have got better the longer this tournament's gone on, in spite of what appear to be dissensions within the camp. That's a goal kick. Amongst European sides, there are fewer better competitors than the West Germans, so this is not over by a long, long way yet, as Forster brings it forward now for the men in green. Briegel's waiting outside him. Here's Hans-Peter Briegel. Forster was flat, the referee didn't see it. There's an awful lot happening off the ball, Ron Atkinson. In a moment, maybe we can have a little talk about that, as Forster picks it up and would try to get the German momentum going again. There towards Berthold, in fact, got the header down, but Rummenigge got in! Well, the young fullback almost opened up the way for the old maestro there, but his touch has been lacking throughout this World Cup, as Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. Good job there by the young fullback. Ron?
Yes, he showed his anticipation there, didn't he, Rummenigge? The first time Berthold's really got into the game in an advanced position. And you're talking about Rummenigge, I mean, he's publicly gone on record as sort of slating Beckenbauer, and really, on his performances, he's lucky to be on the side, isn't he? Going back to the off-the-ball incidents, Brian, there's a lot of jostling, a lot of close marking, men-to-men situations all over the field, and people are having a little tug at shirts, and I would imagine, I know they don't all speak the same language, but there's a football language that's a little bit international when people are having a dip at one another.
Kick to Argentina. On the past the half-hour mark, as Chaga takes up the running again. Another corner.
This fella actually is causing them more problems than Maradona at the moment. He's getting so much space.
Well, here's Maradona. Let's see what he can do. Little back heel. Wasn't a lot of space there for Chaga, but the good old-fashioned shoulder charge on Mateus, and he found a bit of space, and then Mateus with a long, long clearance. Here's Brown. Thierry. West Germans beat the finalists, of course, in 1982 in Spain. This is young Bremer, the full-back. Magath didn't really get a touch in there. Push, and another free kick. Justi. In the meantime, Kuchuf, I think it is down the Argentine defender. But on the moment, it's Maradona. A little flick with the left foot, and another little flick again. As Schumacher comes out, feet first, and it cannons off Maradona behind for the goal kick. What acceleration again here. And certainly an unorthodox bit of goalkeeping, but it came off.
Ryan, that's terrible goalkeeping, isn't it? When we talk about Maradona's acceleration, I wonder how much Schumacher was looking at him when he came through.
Forster. Rummenigge's made a little run away to the left here. Here he is. Loose ball was pounced on there by not one but three Argentines were after it. Brown got up above the others to get that one away. Swallow dive there by Enrique, brought down by Berthold, and won them a free kick. A little over 10 minutes to go to half-time. Argentina leading by a goal to nil. And good for the referee. He said, I don't think you're that badly hurt. We're going to get on with the game. If you want to lie there, stay there. And I wish a few more over the last month had done the same.
I wonder if at half-time Beckenbauer will change his tactics, Brian, because he's wasting a player, really, or he's wasting two players at the back. He's got Forster and Jacobs that really are doing very little in terms of contributing to the game. Yeah, he's very, very short in midfield. I just wonder whether he'll release Mathis back into the midfield and try and control the game more.
Well, here's Maradona. What a watch there by Mateus. Maradona, Chufo, Maradona. Now by the Argentine captain, a free kick to West Germany. Forster, Bremer. Here's Valdana. Really has had a new lease of life, Valdana, with Real Madrid. Bueno and Sanchez being their front man. He's had to drop in a little bit behind them. He had a tremendous season with 17 goals, and that's an offside. He's carried that Real Madrid form into the Argentine side as well. Eder's pass, not likely to reach Berthold. Maradona right back there, this time feeding Burruchaga. Forster. Friegel. Bengrel, Valdana. Little flick wide, but there's nobody fair enough up. Pompidou's ball. Swift challenge there by Jacobs. Well done. Jacobs again with a header. Bounce to his right, saw Berthold there. Eder playing it now for the young fullback. 21 years old. Alof's in the middle. Magath had got forward. Rummenigge had got forward. All to no avail. And it must be a pretty disheartening business making runs from deep in this heat and then finding there's nothing on the end of it. Maradona with a little touch. And here come Burruchaga, Maradona caught offside as the back four sprang forward quickly. Good discipline there from the Germans. Argentina still leading by a goal to nil. With a little under 8 minutes to go to half-time. Bremer, Alofs, Bremer, Riegel, Magath, foul on Felix Magath, 33 years old next month, wears contact lenses. Off the field, there's bright red-rimmed glasses, whereas most of us, I suppose, have got bright red-rimmed eyes after the pollution and the late nights we've been having here, Ronald.
You speak for yourself, Brian.
But here's Bremer with the free kick for the West Germans. Can they retrieve something here with 7 minutes to go to half-time? Certainly plenty of green shirts are in there as he dinks a little one in there, and the flag is up for offside. Briegel thought for a moment it was his lucky day.
As some of the Argies have done in every game, charged up and left people in there offside. But it certainly feel that maybe Germany could learn a little bit of a lesson that England had when the midfield stood up for so long in the first half. And then when they did push into the game, got themselves well back in.
Two players both going for that one, but Schufer got him out of any sort of trouble. Jacobs didn't reach Rummenigge though. Here's Enrique again with Maradona wide on one side, Burruchaga on the other. This is Burruchaga. Maradona's come close. Maradona trying to just flick that ball through again. Batista with a shot, and it flicked off a German defender, but was no trouble. Key man in this Argentine side is Batista, isn't it, Ron?
He just does the holding job in the middle of the park and ensures everything up and makes sure when he gets it that Maradona sees plenty of the ball. But if you looked at his appetite for the game at the moment, Brian, I think compared it, shall we say, with Rummenigge and Briegel, for instance. I mean, Briegel looks as if he's on a sponsored walk at the moment.
Free kick then for West Germany. Eder getting it back towards Bremer. Just crossing well. Briegel charged down, and the Argentines were a little lucky there to get that one away. Jacobs. Five minutes to go to half-time. Argentina leading by a goal to nil, but here come West Germany again. Useful header that by Ruggieri, and not a very good piece of work there by Giusti. Now Briegel for the West Germans. Forster getting their big men from the back forward again. Rummenigge on the far side. Maradona. Ball killed in a fraction. Here he goes. Can they stop him? Well, that's one way. Jacobs brought him down. He stays flat, but I don't think he's hurt. And I don't think he's called the referee. And slowly Diego will have to get to his feet. The game will go on.
You've just seen there, Brian, that's the first little bit of concerted pressure that the Germans have put on the Argentinian back four. We don't really know. We're suspicious of them, although they haven't conceded a lot of goals, Argentina. We're suspicious that they would go a little bit under pressure.
Beckenbauer feels that they are almost the perfect side, so superbly balanced, and in his words, without an obvious weakness.
I think that's a little bit of platitude. They're not the greatest side the world's ever seen. They've got a tremendous player and some very good ones alongside it. But they could be beaten by a team pushing at them, I'm sure, Brian.
This is Brown, the scorer. Olati Cuchilla. Spanish descent. His parents were Basques, I think, from Bilbao. Bremer with the throw for West Germany. Jacobs. Mateus. Jacobs to Bremer.
Brian, I think one of the things people associate Maradona with, obviously, is his brilliant skills and frequent runs and so forth. But I don't think they appreciate quite how much work he's putting into this tournament. He's non-stop. He's playing the captain's role. And the little horrible things that footballers don't like to do, he's doing well.
Famous free kick for West Germany. Mateus. And Pompidou. Plenty of West German flags around this superb stadium. In fact, their Chancellor, Helmut Kohl, is here as well in the presidential box. And also the wives of the German players have all been flown out by the German FA. Except Mrs. Magath, I gather, who's on holiday in Mallorca with her 2 young children. That came first. One of the breadwinner was doing his stuff here. But Germany at the moment a goal down, with about 2 minutes to go to half-time. Here's Forster for the West Germans. Can they pull something back before the interval now? Rummenigge caught offside. Sad in a way to see him. He's been such a pale shadow of a really great striker that he has been over the last 5 or 6 years. Linesman from Costa Rica. Rummenigge's had, what, 92 caps for his country and scored 46 goals. That's a tremendous rate of scoring there. And he hasn't shown any of that in this last month.
I don't think he's anywhere near fit, Brian. Sharpness isn't there. When he's sharp, he's as good as there is in the world.
Kramer. Berto, who really has come on with this World Cup. But Magath making a scuffling little run there. Might have got a free kick.
I think he's been their star player in the tournament, Brian Magath, the oldest player they've got, and what an example he's been to them.
He's certainly in the semi-final against France. He was absolutely magnificent, wasn't he? Well, let's see what the West Germans can do now. Here's Bremer with the free kick for them, and there are certainly plenty of green shirts in that Argentine penalty area. Batista got in there and got it away. Backpedaling here for Adair. Rigo. Now, whistler gone for half-time from the Brazilian, Romualdo Arpi.
Okay, I mean, Rudy Voller's been warming up, Kevin. You might want to include that in your chat.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I want to see is a good game. I don't think it's really started yet, you know.
Thank you very much indeed, Ian. Diego Maradona and Chaga, 2 men who will be seeking to cause more pain for the West Germans. In fact, they have made a substitution, the West Germans. Rudy Voller is on. But to our surprise, as indeed it must have been to Brian Clough's, it's not Karl-Heinz Rummenigge who's gone off, but Klaus Allofs. Well, it had to be there had to be a change there somewhere, and Voller is a good striker with a good record in the West German side. But we're underway again. With Argentina now attacking the goal to our left in this World Cup final, leading by a goal to 0. Foul that time on Mateus by Diego Maradona. The pitch got a bit of stick at half-time from our guests in the studio, but I thought you felt that there was a bit more zip in it than particularly when we played against Paraguay here.
That's right, Brian. It's not the best pitch in the world by a long shot, but certainly it looks as if it's in better condition than when England played both Argentina and Paraguay. At least it looks as if players can sometimes fizz the ball about.
Giusti towards little fizzer Maradona, but again they get it away. It'll be a throw to Argentina.
Can't help thinking that substitution must have been, Alex must have had an injury of some sort, because certainly Rummenigge's not justified staying on, and Alafel is at least a willing horse. He has, as he's proved in this competition. He'll run distances and keep working whatever happens.
I noticed the training staff also having a good talk with another little striker, Pierre Littbarski, during the half-time interval, so it could well be that he's another one that will come very much into the reckoning if a second substitution is to be made. Certainly the West Germans need something to pep up the pace and cause a few problems in this Argentine defence, but at the moment it's Karl-Heinz Forster trying to get Briegel away down that left, but a badly weighted pass gives Argentina a goal kick. Problems then for Franz Beckenbauer. Played here in the 1970 World Cup semi-final when West Germans lost to Italy. Played in 1966 World Cup final when they lost to England, but at his great moment of triumph, of course, when they beat the Dutch in 1974. Away they go, and the flagger stay down, and he might come through to Maradona. Well, Mateus did remarkably well there. He stuck with his pace, kept his discipline, blocked the shot, and it'll be a goal kick. The whistle had gone a little bit earlier. Certainly there was no flag from a linesman. Adair taking a kick from Batista. Mateus. Rummenigge's gone on a run on the far side. Magath's made himself available. Adair too on the right-hand side. Here he is. Valati Kuchera. Bremer. Foul and a free kick to the West Germans. Budachaga being told to get back by the Brazilian referee, and quickly. Bremer then with the kick. Jostling and bumping and boring in there. Flagger stay down. It might come to Rummenigge. In the end, Argentina get it away once more. Batista, Maradona. Little pick by here, Budachaga. And there are three up and only one German back. Jacobs has got to hold the fort as Budachaga goes on. Valdana, can he turn it back? It's a corner. Well, they really had committed themselves in suicidal fashion then, the West Germans. Suddenly there were three Argentines and only Dietmar Jacobs back.
Yeah, he's done tremendous, hasn't he, to retrieve that situation, Jacobs. But there you saw the value of Batista. He won the attack, he won the ball very quickly in his own half of the field. Little quick ball to Maradona, who spotted Boricega with a brilliant piece of vision.
So a corner then to Argentina. In the meantime, the referee's attention being called to an Argentine player injured at the other end of the field. So it is at the moment, can you, Ron?
Is it Big Brown, or is he going up the corner?
Whatever it is, it looks serious. I think it's Jose Luis Brown.
That's the only problem, Brian. We've seen this happen so many times when that stretcher comes out. The fella's lying down as if he's been poleaxed, and all of a sudden, the sides of the stretcher seems to get him back on his feet. Sight there of Carlos Hidalgo, the Argentine manager, who took over from Cesar Menotti. Also a qualified children's doctor. I know there are cynics who say, well, that should qualify him very well to be a football manager. But I wouldn't say that, Ron. Well, Brown is still down. There seems to be some concern. Just wondering when they had the last free kick a few minutes ago, there was a bit of jostling going on in the box between Brown and I think it was Forster.
Well, it's Brown who's in trouble. And it's a shoulder problem, Ron, which you know well.
Let's hope they've got a harness in the dressing room for him.
He's in a lot of pain. The man who scored the opening goal in this World Cup final Looks as though he may not at the moment be there to finish it off. Corner to Argentina. Riegel gets it away. Bastista returns it. Valdana on the far side for Argentina. Stopped though by Thomas Berthold. Riegel, or slip. Magaf trying to retrieve it. Everybody tumbling and falling all over the place. The free kick's been given to the West Germans. And Brown is back, holding an injured arm, which is very reminiscent of Franz Beckenbauer here in 1970 when he played a semi-final with his arm in a sling against the Italians. He is in a lot of pain. Free kick to the West Germans. Mateus with it, trying to get Bremer in. Played in early. Brown, the injured man, got the header in, and it was an important one for Argentina. Here's Maradona, and quickly closed down by Forster. Giusti versus Jacobs. Now away comes Riegel. Tangling with Cuchufo. The old steamroller still won't give up. Not until he gets a corner.
Well, they look as if they've had a bit of a pep talk off Beckenbauer at half-time. They look as if there is more fight and urgency about them this half.
But it stays still 1-0 to Argentina with the goal by Jose Luis Brown. But a corner then for the West Germans. A bit more fizz about them in the early part of this second half. Berthold's up with a header. And here comes Valdana. Stopped by Bremer. Still touching again there to Berthold. Another free kick to West Germany for a handball that time. Bremer with it. Kohler in the middle. Briegel's come up. Karl-Heinz Fuster's in there too. West Germans making a charge at the Argentines in this first part of this second half to try and retrieve the situation. The goal down. Andreas Bremer with the free kick for them. Half a dozen green shirts in that Argentine penalty area. Mateus. Played short to Felix Magath. No, it won't reach Rummenigge. Here's Maradona. Again, Magath was in quickly. Bremer. The injured Brown. You see the pain that he caused there, at least. Roberto calls. And Pompidou having a word with the young fullback there. And I think he was entitled to seek that ball, even if it meant a collision with this Brown, who is, as you can see, in so much pain now with that injured right shoulder.
We've been saying, Brian, all through the tournament, something always seems to turn up for the Germans, doesn't it? Okay, there's the key centre-half injured at the moment, and all of a sudden, it's even gone cooler, which will help the Germans if they're going to mount a charge.
Jacobs, picked on by Magath. Chufo, tangling with Rummenigge. Picked down there by Berthold. This is Adair. As the Germans are coming forward again, that was a poor cross. But Bremer might put a more teasing one in now this time. Let's give Adair the chance to do it. That's a free kick. Foul by Olati Kuchia. Certainly a much more promising opening 10 minutes of this second half of the West Germans. A goal down, but now, just as England did in the last 30 minutes of their game in the quarter-final, beginning to carry the battle towards Argentina. Bremer with it. 2, 4, 6, 7 green shirts in the box. Put it down in point of fact by Brown towards his own goalkeeper. Valdana. Maradona. Simple little touch, but a good one to Enrique. And now Valdana, and this could be the break again for Argentina, and he's scored! 2-0! I don't think there's any coming back from that.
Oh, well, that's always one of the dangers Brian, isn't it, when you push forward? But look how Bremner dives in here. He's actually looking for offside. Don't think he could have just held Valdano up and contained him and waited until people got back. But that was really poor defending. Good finishing, though.
And again, as Schumacher came out, the ball placed neatly wide of him. And Jorge Valdano from Real Madrid. 4 goals in 7 games here now for him. He's been a real star, just playing behind the front 2 all the time for Argentina. Just as he does in Madrid. It's beginning to look a good thing now for Argentina. But Mateus planting it forward again. And Pompidou with the ball. Germans haven't conceded a goal in their last 3 World Cup games, but now the 2 here today might well prove to be their undoing. The injured Brown again with a header, and all the Argentine fans will be looking just for a piece of Maradona magic to put the cherry on the cake. Valdano was brought down. It's the free kick. All of these players so much about Maradona's football charges and so on, but Valdano's played a tremendous part, really, hasn't he? He's a bit of an adventurer, actually. He was one of the first Argentines to come and try his luck in the European game. Maradona. Free kick, again to Argentina. And Enrique spotted it. He outwitted it there, and he's found Burruchaga. And Jacobs, is it a corner? No, Schumacher stopped it. Maga. Mateus. Bremer. Bertold. Getting into the byline. Brown trying to come across and cover. It'll be a goal kick. Just wonder how long they'll keep Brown on now. He's obviously in such discomfort. And can't really be that effective at the back there.
No, but I would think, Brian, he won't be too keen to come off now, will he? You can see a World Cup medal. I'm going to say within his grasp, whether he can get hold of it or not, I don't know. From the German point of view, I just wonder how long the kid Berthold on with Littbarski sitting there. He is essentially a defender, isn't he? Trying to play as a winger.
Jacobs winning it in the air. Enrique, but the whistle had gone. The foul on Giusti. The free kick taken, and Maradon's on his way. Can he get past Briegel? No, the long legs of the big German stuck out. And it'll be a throw to Argentina. And it looks as though the Germans will shortly be bringing on Dieter Hoeneß. He's already been once on as a substitute in this World Cup. He's another big striker from Bayern Munich. Germans get it away. Briegel, and here's foul of Ruggieri. Playing wide here now. Alati Gachera just kept in, and very well kept in, and wins a corner.
At the moment, Brian, the Germans are looking at a team of ragbags, aren't they? They seem to have lost the thing that is so important to them, their discipline, and I just wonder about their spirit a little bit.
Yes, Valdano's goal, just when it looked as though they were pressing and might have reason for optimism, within a flash, it had all gone wrong. They want to bring Hoeneß on, and the referee isn't ready for them to do that yet. was touch and go, and in fact it was a free kick. It'll be Magath who comes off. So Felix Magath, it's his last game. His career finishes as he substituted, and Dieter Hernes, who's already been on as a substitute in this World Cup campaign, and slightly embarrassing as well. It was a match when absolutely nothing went right for him. And he's a big, honest striker. What Germany need now is a big and successful striker.
Well, they seem to have made they seem to have put Berthold back into his right full-back position. Where Bremner's playing at the moment, I don't know. Whether they're going to... It looks as if Bremner...
They've slotted him into Magath's place, I think, haven't they?
And it looks as if Rummenigge might be going to play in a wide position.
Rummenigge with the throw. A foul throw, and it'll be one for Argentina. It's still a World Cup final that really hasn't caught fire yet, has it?
Well, I think we said, some time ago in the tournament that the Germans weren't the side that they have been. It's organisation and resilience has got them to the final, but they really haven't played today. Not by the standards they've set themselves.
What about this for a run then by Enrique, brought down, and that'll be a free kick. Oh, yes, he has.
He's the player, Brian, Enrique, but Menotti was saying he feels he's the best player in Argentina next to Maradona.
There's a booking. Yellow card for Briegel, I think it was. Maradona with it. Maradona. Argentine throw. Cachera with it. Keep that caption. You can see why that name is a nightmare for commentators. Well, it's a game at the moment. It's disintegrating into a shambles. What it badly needs is a West German goal to be conjured up from somewhere to bring it back to life, I think. But here's Briegel. And now Rummenigge, as Ron was saying, playing much wider since that substitution. Rummenigge's cross, coming off Cachufo, Valdano now. Ernest getting in there. And he goes down. So another free kick. Bremer taking it. Played in short to Mateus. And an offside there against Bremer. And a free kick to Argentina. Argentina goalkeeper. Near the Pompidou. Feel calm and content, he said, before this World Cup final, and he's every reason to be now. He hasn't really been overworked, and his side are 2-0 up. Chufo to Chaga. Now Hernes. Leading quickly by Bremer, but Brown, who's moving just a little easier now. That arm doesn't seem to be troubling quite so much. Tusti keeping it in. No, he didn't. It's a throw to West Germany. Go on.
That'll get easier every time, every second they get closer to the final whistle, won't it?
So 20 minutes of the second half gone. Argentina leading West Germany by 2-0 in this World Cup final. Here's Rudy Voller, who's hardly had a touch since he came on as a substitute at half-time. Cleared by Valdana. And the Argentinian side at the moment just seeming content, Ron, just to play a containing game, content with their two. They'll look for a third if it shows itself on a counter-attack. But they're not in the mood to take too many risks now. Ada. Just coming in there, but it should be Pompidou's or Brown's. Brown, in fact, with the header. Lati Cachera. Jacobs with a header. Ah, the bounce. beat Valdana. It might put Briegel in, and, well, that man, Brown, was there again. What a hero he's been. Scorer of the first goal, although really nasty shoulder injury. He's come back and battled away, got in the way of that shot at the expense of a corner, which Bremer is now about to take. Swinging in. It's a free kick.
Looks very much, Brian, as if Franz Beckenbauer has sort of gambled all his eggs and said, all right, we'll get in wide position, we'll just lump the ball into the box and see whether we can force a goal. They certainly haven't looked capable of creating anything really inventive.
Thomas Berthold giving it away now. Enrique. And Valdana got in above Briegel. And remember, Maradona with his 5 goals, still that 1 goal behind Gary Lineker. Golden Boot finishing top of the World Cup might well go to the Everton striker.
You always get the impression, Brian, though, that Maradona's got something left in his locker, didn't he?
I was about to say the same.
He's done a tremendous job for me today in terms of the way he's applied himself and worked for his side. But now we're ready for one of his moments of brilliance, aren't we?
Indeed. Halfway through the first half then, Argentina leading by 2 goals to 0. Halfway through the second half, Forster getting it back. Berthold. Berthold again. Adair, well, they only dummied themselves. The ball fell to Argentina again. Giusti, now Burruchaga. And look at the space. Oh, he was given offside. The flag was a little late coming up, and Enrique can't believe it. I must say, to me, he looked as though he might have been fractionally onside.
I would have said about 10 yards onside, Brian. He came from such a deep position. Yeah, a mile onside.
Maradona. Well, let's see whether Enrique can get in again. This time Burruchaga's made a run on this side. Giusti. In comes Hernis. Loses as Burruchaga takes it up. Some lovely control. Oh, delightful control there by Burruchaga. In the end, comes to nothing.
But Argentina are in a lovely position now, aren't they? They've just got to keep the discipline, keep knocking the ball about. They know that the Germans have got to try and force the game, Brian, and what's going to happen is more and more spaces are going to develop for the likes of Maradona, for Valdana, and people like that.
Bremer. So the message is really to stay watching. You might just find that the space is there for a piece of Maradona magic before the day is over. Berthold. Jacobs for West Germany, 2-0 down. Bremer. They've hardly been prolific scorers, the Germans, in this World Cup. In any case, they've only scored 6 in this month in Mexico. Rudy Voller. Berthold playing it in early. Brown up there with a header. Little overhead, and here's Maradona, but he showed too much of that to Briegel. They claimed it was handball. The referee said no, and Germany stay in possession with Forster. Played towards Hernis. He got his header in. Goal kick. Argentina, who beat South Korea, they drew with Italy and then beat Bulgaria. Then that great match against Uruguay, they won 1-0, and in the quarterfinals they beat England. In the semis, Belgium. Scoring 11 goals, conceding only 3, and Franz Beckenbauer knows the task is really a massive one now for his side, who in turn drew against Uruguay, beat Scotland after going behind, then lost to Denmark, beat Morocco with a free kick right at the end, beat Mexico on penalties, and then got through against France in the semis. A throw then to Argentina. Maradona is put on the deck, but he still gets up to get a little ball through for Giusti, and Buruchaga, arriving late, turns it wide. And the ball is kicked away by Alati Kuchera, and the referee, I think, is thinking of a booking, and then decided in the end not to. He was feeling in his pocket for a moment. Sorry, Roman, interrupted you.
I was just going to say, I think you might be discrediting the German player there. He just nicked it around the corner nicked it around the post for a corner.
Buruchaga with the corner. Valdana. The whistle had gone, and a free kick to the West Germans. Inside the last 20 minutes, Berthold for West Germany. 2-0 down. Rudi Völler. Costa. Costa. Berthold. He's coming in there. Pompidou not getting a lot of distance with his push rather than the punch, but Enrique was there to help him out. Now Giusti to Valdana, man who scored the second goal. Free goal for Bremer. Here come the Germans again, and they get a corner. Bremer with the corner for West Germany, and forced in by Rummenigge. Well, maybe it's not over yet. The old maestro, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. Only one goal in his last 11 internationals has suddenly and surprisingly maybe opened it up again.
Brian, that's a striker's goal. A little bit of credit. It wasn't a great corner, actually. It looks as if he's mishit the corner. Boller's got a good touch, and he scored a striker's goal. He's done what he's been paid for. And you just got the impression, just a few minutes beforehand, that maybe the Argentina were getting a little bit sloppy, a little bit casual. They actually gave that corner away through casual play. And we've said so many times, haven't we, in the past, the Germans, no matter how badly they're playing, always seem to be able to get back in the frame.
They'll battle and scrap to the last. They have a fantastic competitive spirit, and now they've got just a little something to work on. Not to be taken lightly. The odds still favour Argentina, but we saw how they very nearly crumbled against England when put under pressure in the last half hour of that quarter-final. Now let's see if the Germans can do the same sort of thing in this World Cup final. Or will Maradona and Buruchaga find another opening? It's Buruchaga on the ball at the moment. Enrique is held off, and there's a play on, said the Brazilian referee. Well, now, we might really have a game on our hands as Bremer comes forward for the West Germans. Here's Berthold. Will he get to the byline? No, the flag was up.
The circumstances have actually dictated how the Germans play now. And Mateus has completely left Maradona for the two central defenders to deal with. And they're now concentrating on their own game. And who knows? They haven't looked impressive, but they've still managed to push the game a little bit. And as you see then, they're only one goal behind now, and anything can happen.
Well, the German voices in the Azteca Stadium are really heard for the first time on the day. Riegel beating Valdana in the air. Cuchufo that time beaten by the determination of Hoeneß. At that time a foul by Rummenigge. 2-1 the score with 15 minutes left. sight there of Rummenigge saying he could do with a drink of water. Well, they might do with a little help at the back there as Maradona's on his way. And that time it was Dieter Jacobs who got back quickly to deflect the cross for the corner. Maradona will take it. Batista, Valdana, Burruchaga, are all in there. Something like 7 Germans back to mark them as well. Briegel's header. Argentina's throw. Brown and Valdana then the scorers for Argentina. Rummenigge for West Germany. Briegel in first. Bremer. Rudi Voller. And Peter Briegel. Voller. Bremer. Germany's throw. Berthold. Rummenigge's waiting there in the middle for a cross. And the throw goes Argentina's way. Twice that young Berthold has been down that right flank since Germany scored, but neither time has been able to get any sort of cross in. And a yellow card for Alati Kochia, presumably for time wasting taking that throw. Jerry's header, and here goes the little man Maradona. That wasn't a good enough touch though, and it always gave Forster the chance to get in, which he did. Bremer to Eder, back again to Bremer. The Germans are certainly sensing now that this World Cup final's not over by a long way. Here's Rummenigge. A foul on Voller. Was indeed. It's a free kick for the West Germans, a chance for them to float another dangerous ball into that Argentine box. Bremer, free kick specialist with it. Plenty of big men are poised, including Hoeneß, who tried to get in there but couldn't quite make it.
There's actually a little bit of balance as well since Bremer's moved over to that side of the pitch, Brian. Briegel struggled a little bit of making any progress. In fact, he looks absolutely out on his feet at the moment, just trying to get bits of drinks of water.
That was Briegel again, hitting the ball straight to Maradona. Germany's throw. Ball through to Briegel. Played on first time to Forster. Jacobs. Back again to Briegel. Argentina with everybody now behind the ball as Briegel floats this one in. It'll be Batista's header away to Burruchaga. And now to Maradona. A little header on and he goes diving looking for the free kick, but the referee again says no. Oh yes, he does. Well, Maradona didn't fool the referee, he fooled me instead. But he does go looking for free kicks all the time, doesn't he, Owen?
That's right. I think he was entitled to that one. I mean, his pace has taken him past Briegel, who really is blowing very hard, to say the least.
Well, he'll have to stay on because the Germans have made their 2 substitutions. Enrique trying to get Giusti in on the far side now. Flag is up. Argentina's throw. Itching really for the Germans now to have a go at to get at the other end of the field and have a go, because you sense that if Andres Maradona does something, that you sense that Argentina might get will to gain.
That's right. I mean, I just saw Rummenigge a few minutes ago trying to pull everybody forward. He was having a right go at Briegel, who was about 25 yards behind the rest of his team.
Berthold. Now here is Rummenigge, 30-year-old, father of 3. He's got all the ambition back now after scoring that goal. Mateus playing it in there towards Hoeneß, got the header in, And Pompidou putting it behind for the corner. So now there is more pressure on them. And again, you can hear the German voices around the Azteca Stadium.
That thing is, Brian, they're getting back into the game. Here's a prime example of what we call typical English football, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Closing down high up the park and just lofting high balls into the box.
And Enrique not going back 10 yards. And he gets a yellow card for his pains as well, because he knew that he was wrong. Why he was doing it, I don't know. Sometimes they baffle you. Corner coming in, and he's there! Voila! 2-2! Well, what were we saying a moment ago? What an astonishing comeback by the Germans, who looked dead and buried 10 minutes ago. A flick on, and again a poacher's goal by Rudi Voller. And an astonishing World Cup final has been turned upside down, and the Germans have brought it back to 2-2.
That's great instinctive finishing, isn't it? I just wonder how much the Argentinians are missing, how much the injury to Brown's affected him at the back. Because he's certainly not competing on those challenges now like he was before the injury.
Well, now, they really do look to Maradona, with 10 minutes, or under 10 minutes left. Batista. It looked an absolute formality for Argentina, and it may still be. That looked like handball there by Jacobs. And suddenly, having saved themselves, they could be pitched right back into trouble again. Maradona will get behind this one. And every German heart will flutter. Well, we've talked about their competitiveness before, but I really thought they were out of it when that second goal, that Valdana goal, went in. They looked to shambles and quite incapable of pulling it around. Well, the little man hits it straight at the wall, and the wall gets it away. To Chupo now. That's Schumacher's ball.
It makes you wonder, Brian, if they'd started off by having a go, what would have happened? Because certainly we said at the onset that we didn't think the Argentinians were a great side at the back, despite their record. We saw that against England. As soon as England chased the game and pushed onto them, they had them into all sorts of problems.
Bremer. And an offside flag is up. Well, they had a rotten start to the day, the West Germans, because of the enormous traffic jams which you always seem to get in Mexico City. They arrived 40 minutes later than they planned, and they were all fretting a little bit about that. 2-0 down, and suddenly everything has started to come right for them. Now, Maradona, a touch by him, but Chaga's onside, played onside by Riegel, and there's the reprieve for Argentina. Chaga makes it 3-2, and there are Germans back on the ground in utter and total despair. Played onside by Riegel, kept his head superbly as Schumacher came out, and Argentina are back in the lead. Chaga.
Brilliant finish, Brian, brilliant. He had the same situation in the first half, didn't he? Brilliant ball from Maradona. That's great cool finishing. He may have had the chance to face it across, I think it's to Valdano. He took the selfish way and he's took it bravely. That was a first-class example of slack marking at the back. Germans probably relaxing from the fact they just got back to 2-2.
Doesn't it happen so often, though? You get yourself into a situation where the game seems to be saved, you relax, your concentration goes for a second. Maradona pounced with a lovely ball through for Chaga. And Argentina are back in the driving seat. And the West Germans, can they pull it round again? Well, they've less than 5 minutes now to do it. Rummenigge's not given up as the cross comes in and Voller trying to get in there. Well, it certainly made it a splendid second half of this World Cup final. The despair of the Argentines having forfeited a 2-goal lead. Pompidou looks as it might be in danger of getting a yellow card. Again for wasting time, and he laid his hands on the referee. And he's very touchy, this referee, about that sort of thing. So the Argentine goalkeeper gets a yellow card as well. In the depths of despair, conceding a 2-goal lead. And then suddenly the Germans turn to despair. But they seem to have at least saved themselves. Only to throw it all away. Maradona. And Germany's throw.
I think it's fitting as well, Brian, that if that is the winning goal, it's scored by the guy. Certainly I've made the best player on the field today. I think Burichiaga's had a super game. He's benefited as well from the fact that all the attention's been paid to Maradona and give him the space to operate it.
Listen, we've written the Germans off once, let's do it again. Here's Briegel. I think it was the poor, tired Briegel that played Burichiaga onside. Maradona, here goes again, taking the ball from Giusti. Burichiaga's in there too, Maradona. Burichiaga, Maradona. Maradona, he almost kept his feet. Oh! But the whistle had gone, I think. The whistle had gone for the first challenge, and not for what surely would have been a penalty.
We talk about Maradona's dribbling ability, but his first touch when he played the give and go with Burichiaga was unbelievable.
The whole place becomes supercharged every time he gets the ball and makes those diving little runs. And there was the dive, but the whistle already gone. Well, the Maradona chance may not have gone yet, because he'll be lining up this free kick. Around about 3 minutes are left. Argentina leading by 3-2. Maradona poised and wanting the German wall back the full 10 yards. Burichiaga's around. Enrique's made a little run. Maradona saved by Schumacher. Free kick to West Germany. Mateus getting it back to Schumacher. Jacobs. And they yet, in the time that is left, find salvation. No, Batista's there. Jacobs to Forster. Running it forward, hoping that Pernis and company might find a header, but Ruggieri got up ahead of him. Germany's throw. Rummenigge has found fresh life. He's also found Bremer with the throw, with space, and there's certainly space for Rummenigge. He's onside. But he tried too much, and Brown suffers more pain as he gets the ball away. In the last minute of the game now. A poor first half has been transformed by real drama in the second. And the referee, just seeing how seriously Brown is injured, or whether he can go on. That terrible shoulder injury caused him to leave the field for a few minutes early in the second half. Frustrating this for the Germans, because referees in this World Cup have a habit of not adding much time on for injury, and the Germans know that they need every possible second. And Argentina now going to bring on Fabiani, a substitute, and they're taking off Burichiaga, who wanted to have a handshake with the referee before he went. Really taking his time, and the referee clearly has got to add a bit of time on. We're way over the 45 minutes now.
Yeah, this is all, Brian, is to take the heat out of the game from the Argentinian point of view. Just cool the game down, stop the German sort of surge, and just play out the remaining few seconds. I mean, Burichiaga's his best player coming off, not injured.
So he might get a substitute on now. Troviani. He'll get on for a few seconds in a World Cup final and might not even get a kick. It's Argentina's throw. Cuchufo with it. It's with Jakobs. They want to pound that ball forward. Rummenigge's there, and the header goes into touch. It's going to be another Argentina throw. So much time wasting going on at the moment, and a bit of gamesmanship as well there. Volata Kachir with the throw. He better not take too much time because he's already got a yellow card for time wasting taking a throw. Oh, there was a kick there by Vola on Maradona. Another Argentine throw. In fact, it was a free kick taken by Maradona. A back heel, and Enrique's in, and Valdano's waiting in the middle, and Schumacher is equal to it. Quick throw out. Mateus popping it forward again. Batista in there for Argentina. And the Argentinians looking now at the referee and saying, come on, the ref, the time is up. But he's playing on a sensible amount of injury time because there has been some to Jose Luis Brown. But now it's over, and Argentina are the new world champions. 3 goals to 2. Stewards are having a hopeless task keeping people off the pitch. Diego Maradona. And they're jumping around the Argentina players now in sheer delight and in sheer relief as well, you can be sure of that. They thought they'd blown it a few minutes ago, and Burruchaga was through to save it for them. A lovely pass from Maradona. It means, of course, that Maradona finishes the World Cup with 5 goals, and Gary Lineker remains the leading goal scorer in this 1986 World Cup with 6. Certainly a much better second half, Ron Atkinson.
Yes, the Germans realised they've got to come forward and try and win the game. But to get back in it, there's no good sitting back, and at least they made a game of it. Not a great performance by them, I don't think. Argentina, full marks them, creative, coming forward, did well. At the back, always looks as if they could be taken.
And the silver coming out of the skies now from the roof of the stands on what has been a golden day for Argentine football. Winners of the World Cup in 1978 and winners again in 1986.
Del Mar in Chile, the clash of the 2 giants of this continent, both in Group B, Brazil and Uruguay. Brazil the holders, Uruguay the country with the best record in this competition. Well, 2 nations of complete contrast, the biggest and the smallest in Latin America, the huge resources of Brazil, the unbelievable achievements of Uruguay. That's a tiny little corner there of the continent with Brazil completely dominating it. The stage here, the seaside resort of Viña del Mar on the Pacific coast, the other side of the Andes. Well, let's have a look at the team lineups here. For Uruguay, this is their 3rd game. They've drawn the first 2 fairly unconvincingly. An experimental side, now under pressure to get to the next stage. They keep, in fact, the same lineup as played in the last match against Ecuador. The Brazil side, well, this is in fact their 2nd game in this tournament. They beat Bolivia 2-1. Took a few knocks, but number 11, João Paulo, has recovered. Number 9, Careca, hasn't, but 18, Rise, a big player, plays mostly in midfield, is preferred to him anyhow, with probably number 7, Renato, playing directly up front. But again, this is experimental. Not so experimental, the man in the middle is Juan Carlos Lusto from Argentina. His first game in charge. The linesmen are both from Paraguay. So this is a very, very important occasion on this continent. The fact is, if you like facts and figures, they prove that Uruguay, in fact, have a very impressive record over Brazil in this competition. Brazil playing their 100th match in the Copa America. Uruguay out in front, though, in terms of games played and percentage of success. Tonight, though, could be very different. The real facts are that this Brazilian side under Roberto Falcao are rebuilding, and it's a slow process. And without certainly some of their European-based players, it's harder for them. The Uruguayans are, they say, looking ahead to 1994. Well, alongside me in the commentary box, I have Danny Bergara, the only Uruguayan working in English League football. He's done wonders at Stockport County, but he's a highly respected coach at all levels of the game, including international youth level. Danny, here's a hard one for you. Who do you fancy?
Well, it is obvious, Jerry, that my heart will be tonight with Uruguay. Having said that, my mind tells me what my eyes have seen in the past few days. And I've seen Brazil play Bolivia, and they disappointed me, although they won. And I also saw my country fellows draw with Bolivia and Ecuador. Both games unconvincingly. They are trying to implement a little bit of the European style of football, and it hasn't worked out as yet. I just hope that we can see a good game tonight, and we can regain a little bit of more respectability in our play.
And I gather you'd like to get a repeat of the score in the World Cup final in 1950, which was
2-1
to Uruguay. And away we go. So Uruguay,
here we go.
The Celeste, of course, in their blue shirts against Brazil, not in their gold and green, but in their gold and blue because of the clash of colours. But it's experimental time for both sides, but the nations, the people of the two big competing nations here won't take kindly to experiments going wrong. So let's see how things work out here. With already Brazil have decided, I think, because of lack of success in the first match, that they're playing with slightly less players committed forward, and the big number 18 Rai brought into midfield to give them a bit more power and weight there. But now there's perhaps an opportunity for us to see whether these fellas are any good at free kicks. And quite a few of them are, including Sanguinetti, the number 4 for Uruguay. Going to have a crack here. Sometimes the walls, as we've seen, aren't that well organised. Sanguinetti, in fact, not on the ball. And Dos Santos with the left foot. Way over the top. The left back with the number 6. Have you been impressed, Danny, with the way set pieces are taken here?
Well, with relation to this precise one that we just seen, I thought the fellow was a little bit ambitious. He was a bit far. I probably would have thought that the ball into a 5-stick or even into a penalty spot area would have been a better choice.
But you should know as much as anybody, Danny, that these guys like to shoot, and they've proved, particularly the Brazilians, that they can actually get them on target. Hopefully, we might see a few fireworks like that this evening. Now then, we've got Cafu getting down the right-hand side with Renato coming inside nicely. There's a very, very heavily packed midfield in there. Mauro Silva getting it wide to Branco. Neto trying to get involved. The whistle has gone, and there's a free kick here. It's important that the Argentine referee, I think, Danny, gets hold of this one quite early on.
I noticed one thing, Jerry, already from the Uruguayan team. They had started, as soon as they lost possession, they started to pressurize quite well into the Brazilians.
What about Branco here for a shot?
It could be.
With a left foot.
He'll try.
It's pushed forward and looking for the return. And there wasn't anybody picking it up. It wasn't all that well hit. But it was different. Fracha trying to get it forward, but Brazil squeezing up, denying them space. Is Marcinho involved there. A lot of movement off the ball, but the marking is tight, Uruguayan style. And banged away by Reveles. Straight in again and tipped over. Well, Alves is a very experienced goalkeeper, but he had to be correctly positioned and on his toes there.
We were talking before, Jerry, about Brazilians, continentals in general, you know, having a go from long distances. I think he nearly caught him, you know, he stranded there.
Certainly did. Now, what about corners? They haven't been all that well hit so far in this competition, but he's got a chance to hit it again and drives it straight in. But protecting the near post, there was no danger. That one from Captain Neto. So important to the structure of Brazil's game in midfield. He had a good first half in the first match, but seemed to fade a bit in the second half. So Castro pushing it forward to the number 13, Borges. It's Borges again. Whistle had gone for offside. Well, a double header here at Viña del Mar as Mano Silva gets involved there. We didn't see much action in the first game. Perhaps this will be a little bit of an improvement, but good covering there. And Renato gets in there again. Renato's still very busy. And Renato's still moving, although the flag is up quite obviously. But that was quite interesting, the way big number 7 for Brazil, who even Brazilians who are fairly uncritical of their stars say he's a bit of a dozy devil. Sometimes he plays brilliantly, sometimes he just disappears. But he looks as if he's a bit interested tonight.
I thought Uruguayan defender on the previous occasion was a little bit lax in there, and he gave him a chance.
So here's Branco. Back to Gratado. Oh, it's very tight. Good break on there by Uruguay here, and again this long distance effort, which we've seen previously from Castro, an optimistic man with the shots, and sometimes you might feel they're wasted. Neto under a bit of pressure, always got a spare man. Number 4 there is Ricardo Roca to Cafu, back again, and knock it around. A lot of movement, not sometimes as much movement as you would expect from a Brazilian side, off the ball, and they run out of space there. But I don't think we can complain about the condition of this pitch here in Viña del Mar. It looks absolutely perfect. Again, tight marking, and Marzinho goes in well. Learned that from Italian football. Gratado tries to swing it wide again, inaccurately, trying to get Cafu in down the right-hand side. Attacking fullbacks is Brazilian style. Branco often used an outside left almost on the left-hand side, certainly was in the World Cup. Cafu is something of an unknown quantity, but it's certainly giving him plenty of possession. Here he goes again. Mano Silva and Marzinho very busy in midfield. Haven't seen much of Neto so far. Good play by Borges. Borges dumped. Free kick given. So the pressure on Uruguay really in this tournament. When the draw was made and they had games against comparatively easy sides, it looked as if they might pick up a few points against Bolivia and Ecuador. But the 2 draws means the game against Brazil has an extra importance. It's not just a question of not losing, they need to get a few goals in the bag. Pushed back by the number 9 Mendes, who is being marked very tightly and not getting a lot of service so far, as Brazil do well to close a lot of things down in midfield, but it's got through here to Fracha. Fracha again. Rebound, not clear yet as Sanguinetti gets it back in. Not cleanly though. Now Renato, can he get away from the bunch of Uruguayans? Into trouble and picked up easily by Moran. Digging at his heels, lets it go. Didn't let that one go though. So reasonably behaved by South American standards, Danny, or am I being critical? Going okay?
No, I think they're both like two boxers go in the ring and they're studying themselves and they're trying to counter-attack each other, you know, and trying to see what, you know, what's what. The next 10 minutes, probably we can see something happening.
As Ricardo Roca tries to float one forward, it's banked out by Reveles, the Uruguayan captain, and Roca's now in pursuit. Nicely back, or is it? No, it isn't. He claims that he kept it out. The Uruguayan claims that he didn't, and it should be a corner. What's he given?
Now, before the game started, Jerry, I mentioned about Uruguay trying to add certain things on the European game, and you saw again that ball being cleared with nothing right over the top, and like you did the other night.
Right, but they've got a corner out of it, and the back pass, not so clever. Tafarel couldn't rescue it in time. So there's problems here for Brazil, because Uruguay got some height, and goalkeeper Tafarel comes out well. Certainly a distinguished player in this current Brazil squad. And the referee right on top of that one. Mano Silva pushes it back, and we start again. 10 minutes gone. Plenty of activity down that right-hand side. Not so much down the left and through the middle. And that really was a shocker.
Well, really, I mean, it's not just the quality of the ball, it was the area that he tried to play that ball. I mean, it's, you know, it's very dangerous doing that.
Very dangerous. Here's Sanguinetti for Uruguay. Sanguinetti again. Still very, very tight. Hooked in by Moran, not very well, though. And Gutierrez couldn't get hold of it. Now then, bit of space for Mano Silva. Renato chasing, well covered, picked up by Franco. Changed beautifully onto the right-hand side to Capu. João Paulo overlapping, but that's a good piece of running and deflected away. Good movement off the ball by Brazil, and they opened them up there, Danny.
Yeah, that was a nice little switch, but then it was a much shorter one than the one we experienced before. You're talking about a 70-yard crossfield ball to a 25-yard ball, much more accurate and much more precise, and then, like you well said, that they opened them up.
So this is Brazil's corner as Neto going to take it. He's excellent with the left foot. We've got Maro on the near post, and there was danger there as a Uruguayan defender came in. It could easily have knocked that into his own net.
Well, that corner had a little bit more venom than the other, didn't it? I mean, the first corner was low, it was not directed properly, but this, it was a good zip into that ball, and it caused a problem.
They're getting into the swing. Gottardo is in there. So to his right, who's big and tall. Good punch, though, by Alves, and banked away by Mendes. Brazil keep possession well, make a little space for themselves. Marcinho harassed and has to knock it farther back to Roca. Neto playing on that right flank, tries to swing it again with the left foot, but once more over-ambitious. So they start again, but they're pressuring them. European style, if you like.
That's right. I mentioned that in the first set, 2 minutes, that Uruguay came to close it down, and they are doing that, not only in their half, but also when the Brazilians want to play inside their own.
So there's some tackles going in. Franco is pushed right up there with Renato here. Can Renato turn and do anything? João Paulo and Rai. Capu. Neto. Capu getting down there. It's a good cross. And just a little bit too far ahead for the on-rushing forwards, but a good break. And the Uruguayan goalkeeper must have been worried that somebody would have been coming in on the far post, but that was a bit hopeful.
I thought Yeah, it's a good ball, yeah. Somebody should have attacked that ball at the far stick.
Should have been a near post ball, though, because...
Probably, yes, probably.
Moran hooking that away. Well, on our count, Moran, the number 8 of Uruguay, had 2 yellow cards and should have been suspended, but there's been a little bit of, what should we say, difference of interpretation about yellow cards and what should happen. So Moran is on the field and currently enjoying himself. Well, these are two sides who've met in such marvellous situations over the years. The World Cup final that we mentioned before in 1950 when Uruguay won 2-1. The World Cup semi-final of 1970 Mexico when Brazil won 3-1. But of course they've also met in the final of this competition. You can call it a final as it's run on a league and round-robin basis. Last year in Brazil, when Brazil won it, they actually beat in the last game Uruguay. But there's a chance here now for Borges. It didn't quite drop for him, and Marcinho,
I think he didn't quite control it. More than did drop for him, probably Derek.
And a good shot there by Francia. He was a bit more nimble with his control and tested the goalkeeper. Francia springing, turning, and then hitting it, and it's a good effort. Well gathered there.
Yeah, that was a good effort. I mean, the goalkeeper was well aware. Anything could happen with that.
Put on Aragon, then no score here, but it looks lively. Two sides, I think, doing not so much more competitive plays than the first game, but they're thinking more. Renato